Hello YouTubers, how are you today? This is your driver Scott. So today I have a story for you, and what happens is I get a lot of people that get in my car, and they're more than a little upset because the previous driver has canceled on them. And I want to tell you a story, and I want to try to help out drivers that get passengers in the car that are angry about that. And I want to try to help out passengers a little bit. Hopefully there's some of you out there watching this. In either case, for you drivers, when somebody gets in the car, I just let the person vent. Okay, they're not angry at you. They may say you. They may associate you with the company because you are kind of representing the company at that point, even though you're an independent contractor. However, just let them vent. Okay, don't argue with them about it. Just let them tell you what their problem is. And what I try to find out is once they say that, I emphasize with them without trying to blame the driver. And I also try not to blame the company. But I still emphasize with the passenger who has lost this time and probably has a cancellation fee added to their account. In either case, I do let them talk, and then I try to emphasize with them. And then what I try to do is find a relatable story that happened to me and explain to them why I've canceled on a passenger. So let me tell you a story that has happened to me and why I've ended up canceling on a passenger. I get this call, and this happened sometime last year, and I'm driving along, and I'm heading towards where the navigation is telling me to go, and I get a text message saying I'm at Smoky Bones. Now, by the way, before I continue, thumbs up, Smoky Bones, good place. I haven't eaten at that particular one that I was going to, but I've eaten at another Smoky Bones, and it's good stuff. So if you see them around, try them out. Hopefully you'll have a great experience like I had experience. I believe you will. In either case, I was driving along, and I get the text, and I pull over because I know Smoky Bones is not where the navigation system is taking me. So I sat there and I did a search, and I found Smoky Bones that was not too far from me, and I texted back to the person, "Are you at this Smoky Bones?" And I sent the address, and the person said yes. So I took a snapshot of where the navigation system was saying, and I said, "Can you retype the address, because this is where it says you are." And it was like a good 10 minutes away. And the person came back with, "It didn't come up for me, so I just dropped the pin." All right, now look, at this point I had already given you the address, and I'm asking you to go ahead and update, where I'm picking you up at. Now, and I don't mean you specifically, but I'm talking about this particular individual. So what happened was I waited, and then I just canceled, and I charged the $5. I put it down as a wrong address. The thing is that if you're a passenger and you're not trying to screw over the drivers, you want the drivers to get paid, understand something that, first of all, when you drop the pin, it's not always accurate. But if you're talking 10 minutes off, something is really, really wrong there. You need to get the address in there. Drivers, almost everyone who cancels on you for stuff like that, I'm sure has been screwed in the past because you're going out of your way. And the person who's doing this has purposely figured out a way to scam the driver. So at the end, they go back to Uber and they complain. By the way, this is Uber. It's not Lyft, because with Lyft, they're much more driver friendly than Uber is. But they'll go back and they'll complain about how the driver didn't go where they were supposed to go, and they get the charges reversed, and then Uber, of course, passes that on to the driver and takes the money out. And trying to get that money back again is a pain in the neck. So because Uber is not driver friendly, you're going to have Uber drivers canceling on you quite often. I've heard very few times where Lyft drivers have canceled, but most of the times it's an Uber driver who's canceled, and most likely it's because a pin drop was done and the address was wrong, and in the past the driver has gotten screwed. So I would say just go ahead and type in the address as much as possible. That way you have a direct address. Now, I don't know why this guy said it didn't come off him. He was coming from Smoky Bones. It's possible. He had a couple of drinks. And that's why he couldn't figure it out. It's also possible this smartphone newfangled Uber app thing was confusing. That's possible too, I understand. But as much as possible, try to get the correct address in there, okay? You put the right address in there, we can go and find you. What a lot of times what passengers don't understand is that when you drop a pin, I mean, I've had it where the address would say building 100 to building 150, and it's 5 buildings on this busy street. Where do you stop? And you know, people say just go to the pin. That's not always accurate too. I've had it where the address is here, and then down the block and up the street is where the pin is. It's in like two completely different spots. It's around the corner, down the block, and I would go to the address that's listed and find the person there. There have been other times where they're not together, and I go to that address and I go, well, this doesn't really look like the place, and I turn around and I go find the pin, and once I find the pin, there the person is. So it's not 100% accurate for drivers. So you have to understand, you have to help us find you, because we can't find you. How are we going to pick you up? And yeah, we're going to cancel. It's the wrong address. If we go to where the address says, and you're going to get charged for it. So now, if you're the type of person that you're trying to screw drivers over, then guess what? We're going to keep canceling, and unfortunately, it's going to affect other passengers. If you're one of those honest passengers, which is the vast majority of you, most of you are not trying to scam us out. My experience has been mostly great, like 99.9% great with passengers. There's very few out there that are trying to scam the system, and they're not scamming the company. They're scamming the driver. This is, you know, poor schmuck out there trying to earn a buck, and it ain't easy out there for a pimp. I wonder how many of you are going to get that reference. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know to go ahead and put the address in. Try not to drop it in. Try not to drop the pin in. Try to get the address and put it in. Most businesses, you could look it up. You could look up the name of the address, and if you're at a business, you can always ask the person that works there. I mean, really, it's not very hard. You know, you're a restaurant, you're at a store, whatever. Just ask the person that works there. It's not hard. But anyway, try to get the right address. Try to put it in, and let us get to you so we can take you where you need to go. So that way, you don't have a situation where you drop the pin and the driver thinks you're that person who's trying to scam him and takes off. Now, of course, there are drivers out there that they just don't care, and they don't care about doing a good job. But most of us, like most of the passengers, are trying to do a good job. So because we're trying to do a good job, we don't want to get screwed, and sometimes we may think, you know, all it takes is for us to get burned once or twice, and you know, you don't want to get burned again. Who really does want to get burned? So anyway, just try to think of it along those terms. Try to put in the correct address. Tell me what you think. I actually would love to hear any experiences you've had. I'm proud in this particular. By the way, there are many reasons why cancellation would happen, and I'm not saying all the cancellations have to do with, you know, a pin being dropped and it's in the wrong spot. Not always, but in this particular case with the Smoky Bones, that's what happened, and I wanted to bring that awareness to people. I also wanted to hopefully. Drivers, if you're new to this would be a way to help you on how to deal with something like that. Try to find something relatable about why you as a driver is canceled. I've had passengers get in the car, they're utterly pissed, they tell me the story. I find a relatable instance where I canceled, and I said, well, let me tell you an example about why I canceled. And you know, of course, the passenger's not always upfront about this to begin with, but eventually they kind of listen, and I tell them the story about why I canceled, and they're like, well, that kind of makes sense. So if you kind of explain it to people, they will understand. Passengers will be better passengers, drivers will be better drivers, and we'll all just get along. Anyway, please write something in the comment. If you like this video, like the video, subscribe, share, comment. You know, let me know about your experiences about it. I'd love to hear it on you, about you. Also, in the description below, if you'd like to have this kind of fun, navigating around and picking people up, go ahead and check the links below. It's great part-time money. You can, you know, you make your own hours, and You can, pay off a credit card bill. You want to go on vacation, you can just go ahead and work real hard, get that vacation money all set aside. So it's a good deal. Go ahead and take a look at the links below and take a look at the description box below for that. Okay, and then also just let me know. I want to hear some stories about that. Okay, thank you very much. This is your driver, Scott. Have a great day.